All right, let's jump right into something that sounds, well, a little crazy. We're going to talk about why aiming for a goal that's 10 times bigger is actually easier than just trying to double it. I know, it sounds completely backwards, right? But stick with me, because we're going to break it down. I love this quote because it perfectly captures what we're talking about today. See, this isn't about just becoming a slightly bigger caterpillar. It's about a total transformation. It's about a complete shift in how you see the world and yourself. You know, we're all taught the same thing. If you want massive results, you gotta put in massive grinding effort. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real key isn't just piling on more work, but completely changing the game you're playing? Okay, so at the core of this whole paradox are two totally different ways of thinking about growth. And believe it or not, most of us are stuck in the first one, which is actually the harder path. So on one hand, you've got 2x thinking. This is where most of us live. We're just trying to make small improvements, do a little bit better than last year. It's linear, it's predictable, and it's based on what we've already done. But 10x thinking, that's a completely different animal. It's a leap, it's exponential, it's transformational, and here's the most important part, it forces you to find a simpler solution. And this is where things get really wild. A 10x goal isn't about doing more, it's about doing less. Way less. It forces you to get ruthless and just abandon the huge chunk of your current activities so you can focus only on the few things that can actually create that massive leap. Okay, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, if you have to ditch 80% of what you're currently doing, your tasks, your habits, maybe even your clients, how in the world do you figure out what stays and what goes? You need a seriously powerful filter. Well, it turns out the answer is hiding in a principle you've probably already heard of, but we're going to look at it in a totally new light. The 80-20 principle is the key that unlocks all of this. It's this incredibly simple but powerful idea that a tiny slice of what you do, your efforts, your skills, your relationships, is responsible for almost all of your results. And this chart? Man, this really hits home, doesn't it? It's kind of a tough pill to swallow, but for most of us, the vast majority of our time and energy is spent on busy work that produces, well, not much. Meanwhile, there's this tiny 20% of what we do that's creating almost all of our success. And this is the magic trick. This is the whole paradox right here. See, if you set a small, safe 2x goal, you can keep doing all that inefficient stuff. You can still get there. But when you set a goal so massive, so seemingly impossible as 10x, all of that 80% busy work suddenly looks ridiculous. It's exposed for the waste of time that it is. You are literally forced to focus only on what matters. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds cool in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Well, let's look at some proof. The results are kind of staggering. So let me tell you about this guy, Carson Holmquist, and his company, Stream Logistics. They were doing pretty well, but they'd hit a wall. Their growth had flatlined, and Carson felt like he was just stuck working in the business, not on it. So he decided to really dig into his numbers, and what he found was, honestly, it was pretty shocking. He realized that a whopping 95% of his clients were what he called routine freight. These were the standard, everyday jobs that kept his entire team incredibly busy. But get this, that 95% of clients were only bringing in 15% of the company's profit. Can you believe that? He'd found his useless 80% hiding in plain sight. It turned out the other 5% of his clients, the really complex, high-stakes ones, that's where all the real value was. So, they did something that probably felt terrifying. They just stopped. They stopped chasing those routine clients and went all in on the big, complex ones. And the result? In just 2 years, with the exact same team, their company became 4 times more profitable. That, right there, is the power of subtraction. And this isn't just for logistics companies, right? Think about content creators. The biggest YouTuber in the world, Mr. Beast, lives by this idea. He knows it's all about leverage. One single, incredible, high-effort video is going to do way more for him than 50 mediocre ones. It's about impact, not just volume. Okay, so if this is so powerful, if it's so effective, why isn't everybody doing it? Well, because the biggest roadblock isn't a strategy or a spreadsheet. The biggest roadblock is, well, it's you. It's in your head. I love this quote because it just nails the real challenge here. To make that 10x leap, you literally have to let go of the person you are today. The very identity, the habits, the skills that got you to where you are right now, they often become the very cage that holds you back from what's next. Take Linda McKissick, a real estate powerhouse. Her journey is a perfect map of this. To grow, first she had to stop being a solo agent and become a team leader. That meant letting go of doing all the admin work herself. Then, to grow again, she had to let go of working with buyers to become a true business owner. Every single 10x jump required her to shed a core piece of the identity that had made her successful before. But that's really the bottom line, isn't it? That 80% you need to subtract isn't just a bunch of tasks on a to-do list. It's your comfort zone. It's all the habits and beliefs that feel safe and familiar, but are actually putting a ceiling on your potential. All right, let's bring this all home and make it about you. How do you actually start to apply this and find your 10x leap? I want you to really think about this for a second. Right now, in your life, in your work, what's the 20%? What are the few activities, the few relationships, the few projects that hold truly game-changing power? The things that, if you went all in, could create a genuine exponential leap forward for you. And now for the hardest part, the question that really matters. What's the 80% you need to let go of to make room for it? What are the good things that are standing in the way of the great things? Because the paradox of massive growth isn't about what you gain, it's about what you're brave enough to lose.